Now live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Real World News TV Live. What's up, people? Hey, I'm kind of happy to be back tonight. We've been gone for like a month, and
Over a month.
needed time to attempt and to try to enjoy the summer. So we are really glad to be back with you guys tonight. Sherry Ann, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's very strange weather here in New York. It's actually kind of chilly here in
Right.
the last couple of days, which is a nice relief, but a little strange.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was 69 degrees this morning.
Really?
Nice day.
Yeah. Well,
God, I wish for that. It was 108 today.
Careful what you wish for. With Trump and his folks at the head of the EPA, you might get your wish.
How you doing, Tony?
I am beautiful today. You know why? You know why?
Yeah.
Because we are back on air. I have missed you guys immensely. I can't tell you how much I've missed doing this show with you guys, and I have missed seeing the comments from the people who are tuning in. I just miss this, and I think at the end of our run on last season, I was burned completely out. But now, boing!
Very nice.
and we come back on a very auspicious day.
Yes, and I know what that day is. So, Chera, do you know what day that is?
It's a day. Wasn't your baby daddy born on this day?
Yes! Happy birthday, baby daddy.
What's up? What can I say? Happy birthday. Thank you.
I always call him my baby daddy.
And you don't look a day older than yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
You should have seen me yesterday. You know I do look a little older today. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. There's been a lot going on since the last time we got on air. It's just too numerous to to really count the issues that have taken place in news items that have come up, upon us and everything. But tonight, what we want to do, and the show title tonight is "The State of Black America," and Omarosa. Okay.
I'm a who?
Yes, and Omarosa. But as we approach the midterm elections, the state of our union hangs in the balance, and that's really true throughout the country, and so does the state of Black America, which I have a real concern for. Now, even more than ever, the U.S. needs to make a decision concerning who's going to run things here in this country. What party is going to run the country for the next 2 years after the November 20th midterm elections? And with everything that's taking place, you got the Mueller investigation, a number of investigations that are taking place, and having some indictments handed down today. We got to figure out what's next, okay? What's going to be happening in this country, especially when it comes to the Black community. And then if we get to it tonight, there's a new tell-all book out called Un-Hinged by Omarosa Newman Manigault, okay? And I've heard some people say the book is a really good read. Because it's a revelation of things that we already probably knew without having to read her book that was going on. Okay. Now, the thing about Omarosa, she really kicked the Black community to the curb when she started campaigning for the guy in the White House during the election run of 2016-17. Okay. Now, she wants to regain our confidence, and she wants to come back to the cookouts that we're having between now and Labor Day in the Black community. And the question is, can she regain our trust? Can she regain her Black card in the community? And that's a question, that has to be answered, okay? For me, if we start backwards and work ourselves forward with the news, I'm sorry, it's a no, because she's an opportunist, and everybody knows she's out there. She's hungry for attention. She enjoys attention. She enjoys money, and I just think she kicked us under the bus when she went and worked for Omarosa. I mean, worked for the guy in the White House, and told us that, hey, one day we'll be bound down to him. Okay. But that's how I feel about it right now. So let's go to the state of Black America. Any comment?
Yeah. So, what is the state of Black America, Ms. Jarrett?
Well, that's not an easy question to answer, because the media really seems to make a Herculean effort to manage the narrative on that, with all of the perpetuation of the myth that we're nothing but thugs or criminals. You don't see them galvanize the news about the high school. They have a 99% graduation rate, and most of them got accepted into their colleges of choice. You don't see, and that happens quite frequently, you don't see the triumphs in our community lauded in the media as much as you see this repetitious imagery of, people getting violent at marches or riots, or people being arrested for a whole litany of crimes. So it's you have to dig deep to get the research to find the answer to that question. I know that it's not as abysmal as it looks, at least in terms of the number of our population that are educated, that graduate college, that graduate high school, that participate in the elections. The mirror that's held up to us on a daily basis is one of negativity. So I think it's really easy to give in to the narrative that we are failing abysmally, and I don't know that that's necessarily true. You have a lot of African American entrepreneurs. You have a lot of them that are giving back to the community on multiple levels. Again, we don't get a lot of media coverage about that. You have a number of African American women who are running for election for governor and other positions, and again, that's not lauded in the community, in the media, all that much either. So I think, to answer that question, we need to make more of an effort to get the positive information out to our communities. We think we have a quarter inch of straw above the waterline and that we're all failing miserably, and I don't think that's true. I don't want to buy that message. And the door behind you just opened. Creepy much?
Stop. You know why? The air is on.
Creepy much?
And then the dog just came in.
About to give me a heart attack. Oh my God. Jesus.
The dog came in.
The Holy Ghost just came in. Shoot.
I'm not afraid of that.
But it's like a broom dropping. The door opened, so what I said was true.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I find what you're saying very interesting. And before I even comment, let me say hello to those who are joining us that we can see watching, because we got quite a few people watching in. Hello, Miss Jacqueline. It's good to see you. Good to see you again, Jacqueline. I mean, she follows every last one of our shows, and she gives us shout outs and all that kind of stuff when she's doing her live feeds and doing some of her promos. So thank you, Miss Jacqueline. Good to see you also, Mr. Brown, Mr. John L. Brown. Always wonderful to have you joining in and tuning in to the show. The state of Black America, I have to agree a lot with what you're saying. Really, I do agree. I think that, I don't know what I think. I think so much when we talk about Black America. I think that what we talk about all the time is being involved. Okay? Being involved. What is the state of Black America going to be when we come up upon the midterms? Are Blacks going to actually get out there and vote as they should be doing anyway. But with this being such an important vote as a midterm, I hate to even wince and say that I'm not confident. I hate to say that. I'm not confident as far as how we're going to show up and turn out. I
mean,
I don't know if that's wrong.
There's the showing up part, and then there's the access part. You know, in the 2016 election, over 800 polling places were closed.
That is true.
Communities that were predominantly minority based or African American.
That is true.
There has been a massive effort from the day that Obama said that he was running, and it continues to pass voter ID legislation to make it more difficult for people to get ID, to make it more difficult for people to go to polling places and vote. And various states have been purging their rosters of people who are registered if they failed to vote in, the last 3 or 4 elections, which, it is our right to vote. And we are not mandated to vote, although I wish more people participated. But it is an inalienable right of American citizens to be able to vote. And if we don't happen to like anybody who's running, some people opt to not vote, which is an unfortunate choice. I understand it, but that's almost not even germane anymore in light of the fact that they're making so many efforts to obfuscate the process and make it difficult for people, elderly, minority, handicapped, that state. Reggie, I don't know if you saw the article, and I can't remember the state, but they closed like 75% of the polling places because they weren't ADA compliant, which is like cutting off your hand because you have a cut. It makes no sense. Rather than closing them, they should invest and make them ADA compliant.
But why do that? But why do that when they know that in making sure that it's not in compliance, that they are cutting off the nose of blacks to come out and vote?
Well, there just happens to be a black woman running for governor this year in that county as well.
Exactly.
So the ACLU is involved, and they are filing a suit, and hopefully they'll be able to prevent these places from being closed prior to the November 20th deadline. But there isn't enough media coverage about this obvious attempt to hinder and disable our democracy. I mean, we're all supposed to be able to vote and participate, and they're doing everything they can think of to make it more difficult. How that it's just mind-boggling. And it obviously doesn't only affect African Americans, but predominantly. And how that cannot be seen as incongruous with, these are folks who ran for election and obtained votes and participated in this democratic process. And now they are voting to close polling places, close DMV places, and make it more difficult. So you have to wonder, what is their end game? And then another, I think his last name is Yoho, Y-O-H-O, a candidate running for office, came out of nowhere and said that only people who are property owners or landowners should be allowed to vote. I mean, it's insane, the direction that we are allowing people currently running or currently in office to take this country in.
Yeah, and you know what? And I just want to read this comment, and then I want to hear from Reggie. But Jarvis Russell says some people think their vote don't count. They can't see that it has to make a difference if they are constantly being denied the right. You want to comment on that, Reggie?
Well, I think first thing is we our own worst enemy. Okay, when it comes to preparing our people to vote, because we don't go out and work at making sure people are registered and fighting these obstacles that come about. Place in Georgia, the county in Georgia, that they're looking at attempting to close down those 17 polling places. County is 60% African American. Okay, now they've always used those precincts, even in the past, as voting precincts, and the ADA issue never came about. But now it comes about because if everybody comes out of this county to vote, Abrams, I'm sure, will win the election to be the first African American female governor in the country. But we can overcome the obstacles. We have to come together and put together van pools, bus pools, whatever we need to do to get people to the polls. I'm sure that every African American church in Georgia has a van or a bus. Get the people to the polls. Don't let obstacles get in your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to voter ID, if the Republicans stay in there, okay, they're going to, we're going to be forced, okay, in the red states. So if they're here in the state of Maryland, we don't need IDs. We can just go in and give our name, address, and
That's what we do in New York.
Make sure that our paperwork is in order and we get to vote. But if you cash paychecks, you have to have an ID, okay? And it bothers me, like, especially in the state of North Carolina, where a lot of people don't have any type of ID. And North Carolina is one of those states years ago that closed down
DMV,
motor vehicle administration offices because they were saying they didn't have the money, and they did that in predominantly black neighborhoods. But we've got to get out there and turn the tables on them.
Right.
If we turn the tables on them, they can't stop us.
Right.
And that's what we fail to do. Too many times we settle for what's going on and say, okay, I don't have a voting ID, I can't go vote. No, you figure out a way how to get those people to the polls and get them, first of all, get them IDs and get them to the polls. If we started flipping the table on us, what are they going to do? There's nothing they can do. But we don't flip the tables on them. Okay, we allow the things that happen in our neighborhood be our crutch and our excuse not to go vote. And a lot of people don't want to vote because they do feel like the vote doesn't count. I stopped going to a barber that was cutting my hair basically because he made the comment, well, I don't vote, it's not going to help me. Well, I ain't got time for that kind of mess, okay? If you're a black man and you don't want to go vote, I don't have no use for you. I don't need your services, okay? Because every vote counts. So even though we're a blue state of Maryland, we're unfortunately a Republican governor, you still need to go out and vote to make that change. So
right. Because John L. Brown makes a good point. He said that lots of blacks, and I'm glad that you said that, Reggie, because it does follow on John Brown's comment. He said a lot of blacks don't vote because they don't understand the voting process, and some think that only the electoral vote counts. But what I find strange, and I'm glad you said that, Mr. Brown, because what I find strange is that the electoral college vote is the most difficult thing to understand. So how do you think that people understand electoral and not understand that their individual vote counts? I don't get how people could have that.
A drop in the bucket is just a drop in a bucket, but you get enough drops in that bucket, you have a full bucket. And we have, I think there are like 37 million African Americans in the country. I mean, think of that voting power right there.
Right there.
79%, 80% of them have got to be at least of voting age. If we were to vote as a bloc, we would have a lot more power. But in terms of busing people, like you say in Georgia, I think they said the nearest polling place, if they close these other places, will be 3 hours away for many of the constituents in this county. But look what Trump said. What was it, Maryland or Massachusetts? I forget. When they were busing people in, and you had people claiming that they were being bussed in from different states to vote twice. So we would have to deal with all of that nonsense. Not to say it's not worth it, but they would still try to make an attempt to say
But why are we going to allow them to tell us how to get people to the polls?
I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying that's the position they'll take.
See, that's what our problem is today, okay? We have forgotten what our forefathers did during the civil rights movement, okay? We went and made it happen, okay? We didn't allow any obstacles to get in our way. See, what the problem is, one of the other problems is we sit and listen to what the guy in the White House says, okay? And we say, yeah, he's right. We can't get there because 3 hours away, okay? We need to stop feeling that way. I'm telling you, if you turn the tables on them, this stuff is going to go away. What are they going to do next? They're going to have to just stop votes, okay? Stop people from voting, okay? Everyone.
Right.
Because we can kick their butts if we get out there and do the work. But we don't want to do the work no more. We've gotten too comfortable in our middle-class neighborhoods where we just don't want to do anything no more as far as affecting change. We're comfortable. We got good salaries. We got good jobs. We got nice cars. So we're comfortable, okay? You know, how many entertainers and sports figures do you see doing commercials that encourage people to go out and vote? Okay?
They should take the money. They should take the money they earn from those commercials and start a fund me account for busing in the states where they've closed polling places to help get people to vote.
Yeah, not even so much as that, but do commercials that encourage people to go to vote. You got to realize how many people look at the NBA, look at NFL, look at the different rappers on BET and all these stations that don't show any shows that are worthwhile looking at, like BET and TV One. They have to go onto these stations and encourage people to vote because some of them don't even go out and vote. Okay, and I know they don't. Okay, so we have to get out there and make a way out of nowhere. Okay, see, this is a problem. The white community knows that we're going to be full of excuses. Okay, that's why they don't really.
They're not worried about it.
They're not worried about it, okay?
Well, except for the elected officials that are passing legislation to make it more difficult for people to vote. Because they know the power of the vote.
Yeah, but
if the power of the vote were worthless, then they wouldn't be making this effort to block the vote. And that's how I see it.
They might see power in the vote themselves as white politicians, but we in the black community don't see the power of the vote, okay? We don't see that. We don't even see the power of the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, example. Where do most women get their hair from? The Asian store. The Asian distributors have a market on hair. Black distributors, black beauty shop, salon owners, supply owners can't even buy hair from them. They won't sell hair to black shop businesses that sell hair care products to black women. That's our problem, okay? How many black nail salons do you see in your community?
Not hardly any.
You run to the Asians, give them your money to get your nails done. Get your nail polish and polish your own nails, okay? You know.
I'm a little rough today.
Yeah. So I just say this. We have put ourselves in a position where they know we're not going to fight back. Okay?
I agree with that.
So it gets very discouraging for men in the community. Like I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people in that county in Georgia that are very discouraged right now, concerning the fact that they might not be able to vote. And there are a lot of white politicians, Republican politicians in Georgia, loving the fact that they're going to close down these 17 precincts. Heck, they might well just close all 19 of them. They left 2 open. You know, but I don't. Well,
I'm sorry, Reggie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen because the ACLU is going to take them to court, and the court's going to tell them, look, you either take care of it and get the ADA get the ADA work done now, or you just leave them alone, okay, and give them a temporary injunction to go in and use those places, okay? So I'm confident that the courts are going to back the ACLU, making sure that these polls are open.
What happened to gathering together or gathering up your neighbors? Because voting day has approached and is sitting on top of you, and you gather up the elderly and you go to the polls. Whatever happened to that?
Have you looked at your neighbor lately?
Mm-hmm.
What color are they?
I have one on the side of me black. The other she's white, okay, and she's a cop. Yeah. I mean, so I don't understand why we can't do what we did during the civil rights movement. You know,
we're not in segregated neighborhoods no more. We're in integrated neighborhoods. On either side, yes, it does. Because on either side of me, I have white neighbors. Okay, now I know where to go find. I know people in my look. I just know everybody in the county. I was able to win 2 elections this past election, so I know everybody pretty well in this community. So I know where to go find the people. Okay, I know where they are. So When my church sends a bus out, we know where to go get them. Okay, we know who the elderly are and everything. But
I think that's the key, though,
but
is you have to know those who are not able to get out to the polls.
But the thing is, you got so many communities, especially in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, that are bedroom communities. Okay, meaning that the people work in D.C. and they come back home, and that's the community that they know. They don't know. Okay, so they don't know where the people are. You know, in the county I live in, 80% of people travel out of the county and work in D.C. They don't know who their neighbors are. They don't know where the elderly people are. Okay, they just don't know. We live in integrated neighborhoods, and we were in segregated neighborhoods. You knew where Big Mama lived at, and all those people. You knew where they lived at, so you knew that they couldn't get to the polls, so you had to go get them to the polls. But if you're not familiar with that neighborhood that you live in or the community you live in, you don't know where to go. You know, and
but for those, but I agree with that. I agree with that. But you've got people who are going to church every Sunday and won't communicate with one another, or Big Mama, or you're talking about church mother, and and they're elderly and they can't get out. So as young people, that's what should be done, is communicate with the people that you spend your time with, that you fellowship with every Sunday, and find out. Put that into the church announcements for Sunday. Make sure it goes in the bulletin. Talk to the pastor. Put his ass to work. You know?
If Omarosa wants her card back, she can take any money she's earned from Un-Hinged and use it for this.
Yeah, keep waiting.
Use it for this. I know it's not going to happen, but that would certainly be more of a. That would have more of an impact.
Yeah, I think one thing here in my area, the NAACP does a great job of getting people out to get the vote out. Okay, and what they do, they get with the churches, they line the buses up, they have a 1-800 number where people can call in and get a ride. Okay, and like I said, the churches, I know at my church we know where everyone is, and we know what needs to be done, what can be done, what we have to do, and we go out and do it. So I say in my community, we probably a 70% rate of getting people out to the polls that can't get to the polls. Okay. Another thing we have to, especially with we make sure that we get absentee ballots to the nursing homes and things of that nature, but people can't get out and vote. We help them make decisions on who they want to vote for. So there are ways of getting around. You just got to be committed to doing those things. Okay, and that's what it is.
Right. And John Brown, thank you for your comment. It's a long one. And I was also going to do Jarvis Russell's comment. You guys write these long comments and then they take up all of the screen. But I want to go back to some comments. Jarvis Russell said, it's funny how people will follow them kneeling. So they will follow them on an effort to vote. Pro ballers are afraid to talk about the vote because massa will cut them from the team. Interesting, Jarvis. John Brown says, this is a show that is needed. I think we have to educate the people in the Black communities by letting them know how their votes count. If we can accomplish that, we will find more people participating and making sure people get to the polls. Thank you, Mr. Brown. He's right. He's right, and that's why I have missed being on your show and this show, because these shows are here to educate people. Yeah. It's here to provide them with valid information, information that is going to provide them a better way of not only understanding the basis of politics or the basis of what we hear in news and knowing the right from the wrong and what's good and what's bad, but it's here to provide people with viable information. And voting is information that I think everybody needs to be aware of, and how it counts and what difference it makes in the communities in which they live. Mm-hmm. So good job, guys. Good job.
I think another thing that hampers the Black community from going out and voting like they should do vote is the economy, okay, the economics of that community, okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a large number, and gosh, Sarah Palin finally corrected a lie that she told. I mean, Sarah Palin, she looks like Sarah Palin. Finally corrected a lie that she told that the guy in the White House said that he had improved the jobless rate in the African American community, and he realized he hadn't, so she did correct herself. You have an economy, the black economy is not what it is, what it should be at, okay? And you have a lot of young men and young women who aren't working. So, like the brother said earlier, they don't see the need to vote. You know, they can't get a job, they can't get out of that rut they're in unless they're selling drugs or stealing. And so they don't see why the vote is necessary, okay? Because they feel like, very strongly that, hey, if I can't, why vote? Is that going to get me a job? Is that going to get me out of the rut I'm in? So
well, first of all, you got to go out and look for a job.
But okay, you go out and look for a job, but you got a record, okay? You got things going against you, okay? I have people all the time ask me, look, this is what my problem is, and this is where I'm at, and this is what I can't get a job because of this, okay? Companies look at records, okay? I mean, and that's sad. They look at records, and most people applying have misdemeanors, and they can't get around them. But then, two, they don't value education either, okay? Okay, and entrepreneurship, okay? Sometimes you got to create a way out of no way for yourself, okay? And these are things that we're not training our young people in the community how to go out and start a business. If it ain't doing that, I tell you, I do not feel like mowing my grass anymore, okay? But just think about the number of people who don't want to mow their grass anymore. Start a lawn business, get a lawnmower, start your own business, So we got to train our young people how to think outside the box, okay? If you think,
right, and I agree with that. I do. I agree with that. But in the meantime, you have to be able to gain capital. Mm-hmm. You have to have a revenue stream somewhere to even be able to step forward in front of a banker to get a loan. Some people can't go out here and buy lawn equipment and advertise for themselves. But that comes with learning what it is to start a business and what it's going to take. And it all is going back to education. A lot of things you can't do unless you're educated. I'm not saying you have to go out here and get, a 4-year degree or a master's or a doctorate to learn how to put a landscaping or lawn business together. What I am saying is that they can find information by going to community colleges and take a class or two at, what is it per unit now? $20 a unit? Okay.
Not in New York, no.
Well, for community college?
It's up there, okay? Believe me.
Really? In New York it is?
Yeah.
Here it's cheap.
But
the thing is, go ahead, Cher. I'm sorry.
I was just going to add to that. When you brought up education, it reminded me that, often a lot of people don't go out and vote because they're afraid to leave their job, but they may not understand that legally their bosses or employers are required to give any employee the time and opportunity to go and vote, whether that's in the morning, in the afternoon,
that is true,
or after work. And they're afraid they're going to lose their job. You lose your job because you needed to go out and vote, and you proved that you went out and voted, then you can sue.
Exactly.
And there goes your capital for school.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Let me say this. The Asian community, and I've seen it, I've worked with franchises owners before, the Ethiopian community, other communities other than the African American community, they have a group of, they have councils, okay, where you can go before a council with a business plan, and they will loan you the money interest free, okay? They look out for their own, okay? All right, they take care of their own communities, okay? We don't do that in the African American community.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Fight for capital. We got to get all our coffee cans together and see how many quarters we got in it, okay? And we have individuals, I'm not even talking about sports figures now or entertainers. We have individuals.
Just everyday people
that could move the community forward if they stop holding the money so tight.
Mega churches. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Apologies. You know, whew.
I have a friend who's a millionaire, and he runs programs to help those that are able to help themselves, but give them an extra step in how to do businesses. Okay, but he's never taken his money and going and say, look, I'm gonna get me a couple of young black men. I'm gonna mentor them
Or women.
help them build a business plan. And if they need $20,000, I'm gonna loan them $20,000. He has guys who are already in business, accelerated program. And he helps those who are already in business take the business to the next level. Okay. And he has a great business. I mean, he's making tons of money on government contracts. But why can't he take some of his time and money and effort and go into the neighborhood and say, look, or go to and say, look, guys, this is what I got. Okay. I need 3 good business plans and I will front the money. Okay. That's what we need in our community too.
So let me ask you this question. In knowing that this person, this millionaire friend of yours, holds back in that area, what does it take to, I don't know, encourage him to be a part of something like that? I mean, what do?
It's
Can't
hard.
make a millionaire.
You can't make
okay, so right.
I let him know. I let him know my disappointment. Okay, he knows that. I mean, I can go.
I don't doubt that.
Okay, and just throw it out there. But
So what does he say?
Well, he doesn't really say anything. Because he's comfortable where he is. Okay, he doesn't see the need to really dig down and give back. Okay, and I wish I had it. Because I would do it.
But see, everybody does not have the heart that you have, or the heart that Shara has, or the heart that I might have.
Well, then tell
or
him
other
about the
people.
tax incentive for doing it. You can write off that 20 grand.
But see, that wouldn't even matter, because you're talking about someone who basically has, and I'm sure he's worked hard. I don't want to throw him under the bus in that way. I'm sure he's worked hard to get where he is. But by reaching forward or reaching down to someone and giving them a hand up, to pull them up, means that he's going to pull himself down. And something about that mentality, that mindset, is the same mindset that so many people have who are not financially secure like your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mentality that keeps Blacks down. Because, and I want to mention this because John Brown had said, he said, I think that's a poor excuse when we were talking about people with records. Mm-hmm. He says they need to be introduced to the expungement program. This is correct. Mm-hmm. But that goes to show because I know, Cherry, you're in recruiting and the HR field. I'm in the same way. I have to look back at people's records. However, it does not stop me from telling them, look, I can't hire you because you screwed up. Mm-hmm. However, this is what you need to do. Check back with me. Let me know what pebbles in the road that you encounter. And let me see what else I can do. Let me see So that's what's needed, is those who do have these problems, you've got to introduce them to programs like John Brown had said, an expungement program to get those things off their record. But we also have to look at one another and tell one another, like you tell your friend, look, man, you need to reach down and help somebody. You can't stop. But it doesn't have to be just the millionaire, because we all do something that I think is of value. Whether you're the person in a call center making calls and that's all you do, then you need to tell the sister or the brother that's sitting at home and say he can't find a job, look, here's my name, put my name on the application as the person referred you, go down and see such a person and tell them I sent you. At least do that. We don't do that, whether you got money or not.
Some of us do that. And
well, I do.
I know last year there was a panhandler, a young guy, outside my office on Park Avenue. And my boss and I both had the idea of getting him a job as a porter. We would do a background check anyway, just to know what we were getting into, drug test and all of that. But he flaked. And so, you can put your hand out sometimes, but you can't make people take it.
But that's true. But does it stop you from doing it for the next person?
No. No, I'm a big fat bleeding heart. No, it doesn't
Because
stop me.
exactly, I mean, you can't stop just because one person did not, drink from the well.
Yeah.
You just can't. Because you might go through 100 people who don't want to be led to the water,
Mm.
and then here comes 101, and that's the one.
Yeah.
So we can't stop. Same way with, trying to reach down and help people with jobs, getting them employed. Same way with getting them out to vote. It's all the same thing. You just have to be able to reach down and extend your hand, extend an offer to help people.
Yeah, I've hired felonies. I've hired guys before they had felonies. But I tell them, I say, look, guy, this is my job, this is my bread, and this is how I pay my bills and take care of my family. You better not F with me, okay? You better come in here and do your job and keep somebody yourself. I say, don't screw me over, okay? Because a lot of times I wouldn't even tell the higher ups that what I had done, okay? So I had that control over the application and stuff. I just did it. But I told them, I said, look, don't come in here and F with me. You better not steal nothing. You better not even look like you want to steal. So you come here and work, okay, and earn a paycheck.
Oh my God, I could tell you a story on stealing about today.
So, I don't mind helping. I don't mind helping people out, but I just don't want. Like I tell them straight up, don't mess with me, okay? I mean, your worst nightmare. I'm willing to give you a hand, a hand up, but don't mess with me. I've had success with them in there because I know when they took the job, I said, look, if you take this job, get on your record for a while, you can go out and find a better paying job. I said, that's all. I said, I don't expect you to stay here with me. I said, but use this as a stepping stone. So we got, and I agree with the brother about the expungement, but you got to have a couple dollars in your pocket to pay a lawyer to help with them, and then sometimes you can find people who can help you do it because you can go fill the forms out yourself and take them to court and work on them yourself. They're easy to fill out.
Right. But you know what? There are so many different programs out there now that have they have the knowledge just like we do as far as, knowing the numbers, how difficult it is for someone who has served time, who have done a crime. They have the same knowledge that we do on all these different programs. But there is one here in Las Vegas, and I do want to say this in case there's someone on air who is watching the show tonight that is having a problem with trying to get back into the workforce, reentry. It is a reentry program here in Las Vegas called Hope for Prisoners, and I work with them closely along with another individual that the director, one of the directors at my place of employment. And we work with Hope for Prisoners because they are a reentry program who have involved themselves with different employers, different organizations throughout the Las Vegas Valley to help those who have served time, who have made those mistakes in their life, to get back on their feet. So Hope for Prisoners, look them up online, Hope for Prisoners. There's Mr. John Ponder who runs that organization, and he does a fantastic job. I have also even hired a couple of people or a few people out of that program. So here in Las Vegas, Hope for Prisoners, it's a reentry program so that you can get back into becoming a viable citizen in society.
We should post that on Real World News site page.
Yeah, you know what? I will. I try not to mix too much, this with the other job. I try not to, but when it's something like this, when I think that it's going to be helpful to people, I will mention it. We've got probably about 15 minutes. Do you guys want to talk about giving Omarosa back her black card?
Did you know that she has a degree? She went to what was I going to tell you? She went to seminary school, United Theological Seminary in Ohio. And she actually has she's ordained as a Baptist minister. I find that really curious that this materialistic, opportunistic media blank went to theological school and is
media whore. That's what you meant.
I saved it for you. I saved it for you. that this is the path that she took after all of that effort. What happened? How did that happen? Was she ever genuine? Even when she was going to, I mean, you know, the first thing I read when I thought when I read that was this woman was going to try to open up a mega church and try to become one of those million dollar mega church owners or whatever. I don't know what her deal was, but that makes no kind of sense. So she was pursuing a doctorate of ministry, and she received a preacher's license. I just don't understand how she went from there to reality TV and now this.
She was reaching. You know, I can't stand Omarosa.
Mm.
I cannot. And you know, when Reggie had mentioned earlier, you know, where she had made the video at the beginning of Trump's, I think it was his campaign when he was campaigning.
We will all bow down.
Yeah, that right there, that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That
I don't even know if she had a black card. Did she have a black card?
Don't know. Don't care. But, you know, the other thing that annoyed me was she was doing an interview, I think, with Wendy Williams. And she was incredibly rude and obnoxious and spoke over her.
That.
And she made this statement, and it always bugs me when people on the opposing side try to steal a narrative. So she says, you know, when men are aggressive or in command or assertive, they're called in command or assertive. And when women do it, they're called a
bitch.
Thank you. But I was like, no, honey, you are a
bitch.
You don't get to play that card. That's not what this is about. You know, you're not being strong and assertive. You're being obnoxious and bullyish.
I can't stand her. Yeah. I can't. But let me say this though. I really could not stomach, just like I can't stomach watching Trump on air when he is, you know, in front of a camera. I can't stand Omarosa the same way. I really can't. However, if by chance I would even extend an offer for her to be interviewed on you guys' show,
as if she'd let us get a word in edgewise,
I would gladly take it. You know why? Because then I would force her on the hard questions that she has been evading for years. For years, and especially now. Why a book? Why a book now? Why have you had this sudden change of heart that now Trump is a racist? Why?
What did she accomplish when she was in the White House? She didn't accomplish anything.
Let's get something straight, okay? We've had black folks ever since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
Always consider us, have always been opportunists, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what she is. She's an opportunist.
Opportunist.
If she had never got fired from the White House, she would have never written a book, and she'd still be working there, and she'd still be, you know, dragging up under
Cow down. Yeah.
The guy who's in the White House under him. Okay. She got upset because first of all, when Kelly got into the White House, he cut her assets off to the president. Okay.
ass.
Yeah. So that lost her control of going where she wanted to in the White House. Okay. Now, when you go into the White House, you have to have a number of security clearances. You had to be clear by the Secret Service to go into the White House.
Right.
Okay? Even if it's just going there and use the bathroom. Okay. Now she's going to get married, and she's going to take the whole bridal party over to the White House. Like she can walk in and walk out anytime. Right. They put their butts out the White House. Okay, because she couldn't do that.
Insane.
Okay. So she has always felt like she was in control because the guy in the White House was allowing her to hang around him. And that's all she was. She was an opportunist, okay?
Yeah, he won't get rid of this token. Yeah. He needs me.
Right.
It backfired on her. And then what she do, she comes out and write a book with her tapes and all this kind of stuff. Even if she hadn't gotten fired, I guarantee you she would have wrote that tell-all book after he came out of office, okay?
Almost
of course.
That was always her plan.
Okay, so I don't feel no kind of way about her, okay? And she wants
what? I feel some kind of way with her. I feel some kind of way, and I'm going to tell you why I feel this way. Anytime you can sit in front of a camera on a number of shows that she's been on just here recently, and she spews from her lips anything that has to remotely do with the Black community, bitch, how dare you? How dare you? And then talking about, oh, you know, who else are they going to have in the White House that represents the Black community? Bitch, you didn't represent the Black community. So what are you talking about?
She is just a small jump above Diamond and Silk. And if anything, I give them a little more credit than her, grudgingly. I mean, she's despicable.
So do you guys feel that what she did by taping her meetings was wrong? Was she right?
If you tape me, she'd be in jail right now, okay? Okay, it's against the law to tape someone about their knowledge, okay?
In some states.
Yeah, in some states here. In the state of Maryland it is. I'm pretty sure in Virginia and DC it probably is too.
It is here too.
She can push the envelope all she wants to, okay? She can push it. You know, they probably would never go after her because, you know, he got a lot of stuff to deal with now with Cohen and the other guy, Manafort. You know, he got enough problems to deal with now, you know, but you know, you can't. First of all, she's the kind of person. Even if you do allow her back into back to the picnic, you're not going to be able to trust her because she might take video of the picnic and use it.
She's not credible. There's something about her that's fallacious and not credible.
Yeah,
right.
So when you look at those type of things about her, you know, you can't trust her. Okay, you know. She pulled a one on the White House and his family, taped everybody. Every time she came up, I guess she had a cell phone on taping people, okay?
Yeah.
If she really had anything substantial, given what I suspect of her character, she would have allowed them to buy it off of her. This
altruism, more money like this. She can make more
necessarily.
Money like
who's going to buy that book?
But see, what's sad... Right. But see, what's sad is that you have to actually think whether or not anything she says is going to be true because of her credibility versus the truth. So you don't even know if you should look into what she's saying is true because of her character, because of her credibility. She has none.
Yeah. The only thing
she could have viable information that could really, really do a lot of damage. But who says that it's true just because?
I think the only thing she could say that would surprise anybody is if she came out with a stained dress a la Lewinsky. That's the only thing I think that would actually surprise anybody. We know he's a racist. We know he's a classist. We know he's a consummate liar, that he's a narcissist. We know that he's not intelligent and that he may have a problem. We know all of that. So tell us something we don't know. Truly shock us. And if she were to tell us that and there was tangible proof, his base would be twisting themselves in knots trying to find a way to explain it.
Oh, happy day.
You know, but the thing is, we don't know what she's got on the tapes to come. I mean, because she's got everybody's voice on those tapes, you know. You really need to look over her shoulder, okay? I mean,
I don't believe she has anything substantial.
People still die of
mysterious causes.
Okay. You know, and she needs to really be careful. I mean, I think she's touching the area and she's doing some things that might upset the apple cart, okay? You know, and if people feel like she's getting too close to them or they might bring something out about them, she might bring something out about them, you know, she might be in a lot of trouble, okay? This world has
Yeah, no, I think you give her too much credit. I think that they know that she's not credible. And so that even if she has something that is blatantly on tape, not doctored, clear and cut conversation of him saying something stupid and obnoxious.
America doesn't care.
Exactly.
Okay.
So she's safe. No one's going to take her out.
You want to pay for it. You know, you think she was on Chris Matthews' show today.
Yeah.
And she goes on these shows free. They pay her.
They're paying her.
Yeah. I mean, she's making big money to go on these talk shows. Okay. She's the hottest thing around now. Hey, I mean, I don't like what she's done to us as Black Americans. Okay. But as a businesswoman, she's smart as crap. She's making money.
Yeah, that you have to give it to her. You have to give her to it.
Yeah. Okay. The only station that's not going to have her is Fox Network. Okay. They're not going to pay her the money to come on there. You know, but hey, the girl is out there she's making some money. The church and her husband got to be proud of her. I hope she's tithing her 10% on Sunday. Okay, she's making a lot of money right now. You know,
I can't stand her ass.
Yeah.
She's not coming on the show now, Tony.
Well, she's not coming to the cookout. Okay, you know, she's not.
Do you see me weeping?
Yeah.
You know. Like I said, he put her stuff in the box. She got to stay in the box by herself. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, by that saying we shouldn't trash her. We're not trashing. We're just saying we just don't like her attitude, the way she treated us. You know,
she trashed our communities.
Yeah,
she did.
Then you got a couple of flunky black pastors that follow Trump, like he's the new second edition, the second coming of Jesus. You know, but they skinning and grinning with him and everything. You know, but this is the problem I have with them. You got these black pastors running after the guy in the White House because they didn't have access to the White House when Obama was in the White House. Okay. Obama didn't have preachers parading in and out of the White House. He dealt with one, basically Reverend
right.
And, you know, that's how he disseminated the information they needed to have, okay? Right. You know.
That was a mere photo op. That's all that was.
Yeah. Nothing, but they allow themselves to get into it. You know, they allow themselves to get caught up in these photo ops, okay? And it makes them look good. They didn't come out with nothing, and they didn't go in with nothing. Like Jamal Bryant said, when they had him at the table, they should have questioned him about prison reform. They should have questioned him about creating jobs in the community. What is he going to do about housing in the black community? They didn't do nothing. Sitting there, and John Gray sitting there praying for him, okay? Praying that all going to be fine, okay?
No, they left with a little less of their integrity. That's what they did.
They didn't have no integrity going in there. Why are you going to go in there?
Right.
I know two of them pastors in there. And, you know, I started going to their websites, their Facebook pages and church website and leave some messages. But I said, no, I'm not going to do that, okay? But, you know, I was itching to do it. Okay?
What were you going to say, Reg?
You don't want to know, okay?
I do.
We got 2 minutes. We want to know.
No, I was going to let them know. But I said, no, I'm not going to do that to the church on the church website or the church Facebook page. But
I would do it. I'd do it and pray about it later.
Two of them are from this area, okay? Harry Jackson and Mike Freeman, okay? Mike Freeman has a mega church in this area, and Harry Jackson has a mega church in this area. And, you know, but look, no, let me tell you something. Okay, look. One of my buddies said, it was like Sunday before last. He said, man, he called me as soon as he did it. He was going to church, okay, because he goes to a church over in Alexandria, Virginia. So he said he had to stop by one of the grocery stores in a nice neighborhood to pick something up on the way to church. So he said when he came out, he said with this Jaguar next to him that had Mike Freeman in it, okay? He looked over there. He said, oh, okay. Because they had a driver. He was driving to the church because it was that early in the morning.
Okay.
So he said, God, forgive me. He said, he turned around, he looked down, got their attention, he flipped it up like this. I said, Dave Ron, no, you didn't. He said, yes, I did, man. He said, he looked at me like I was crazy. He was one of the ministers, one of the pastors was there. But I think that when he saw that finger getting flipped at him, he knew why the finger was getting flipped at him.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then I looked at I posted the video of the meeting on my Facebook page because Roland Martin had it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Mike's sitting in the time like, you know, son, I couldn't wait to see you. I've been praying for you and thinking about you and thinking about the great job you're doing. And, you know, so come to my church. Anytime you want to come to my church, just come on back, Mr. President. I'm I'm about to reach through there and slap that boy.
Oh,
that's why I couldn't go in there. Believe me.
I wonder if he had a fallout of his parishioners.
And I wanted to leave messages on that Facebook page, but I said, no, I'm not going to do it because
I wonder if that impacted his parishioners at all, like if there was a drop in his attendance.
I'm pretty sure it is because I know some of the people go to Mike Freeman's church and they're not into all that mess, okay?
Yeah.
And I think one thing these guys don't realize when they do this, it does affect their membership. You know, and it affects it big time because people do leave you. You might not lose a lot of people, but you lose some of your people. And
Yeah,
you can lose your heavy tithers. People
Yeah.
who really support your church could leave because they don't want to buy into them, you know. But people get so excited about sitting next to somebody with some power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and that's what gets them caught up. Okay, they want to be so close to the man in power that they're willing to do anything. Okay, and that's sad.
I'd need a bath after meeting with him. If I'd be scrubbing myself so hard.
So you won't catch me up in the White House sitting next to him. Okay, that's for sure. I don't agree with nothing he's done that help America.
See, I'd welcome you going because I know you wouldn't hold back. That I would support.
Exactly.
You would say, you know, but those shucking and jiving, ass kissing, no.
Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, like Jamal Bryant said, you got to go in there with some hard questions and ask him. Make him squirm in his seat. If he wants you in there, make him answer the question.
Exactly.
And if those same guys had gone into the White House for that meeting and done that, they wouldn't have been in the White House for 5 minutes. He would have put them out. He kept saying, this is not this kind of meeting. They would have got put out the White House, okay? Simple.
Now wait till they're all at the table and the cameras are on. Then do it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it is that time.
Say it ain't so.
Say it is so. Can you believe it? We're back. Yes. I want to scream, but
no, don't. Now you can.
No, it might not come off very well.
Please don't.
Well, you guys did it again. Great show. Great opening for our new season. Getting the week started for the rest of the shows to come behind you. Great job. Great job. So you guys ready to get out of here?
Yes,
Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's go ahead and do it. You've been actually sitting in and watching a Real World News TV with Reggie Kearney and Cherry Ann Tappan. Make sure that you come on back here next week on Tuesday, every night on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Central, and 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast. Make sure that you follow them on Facebook under Real World News TV. Also, make sure to go on over to our website at hottopicstalkradio.com/Real World News TV. While you're there, check out the other shows, Hot Topics Talk Radio on Wednesdays and Man to Man. What is it? Man to Man Radio TV or whatever the heck it is. I'm out of practice, you guys. But anyway, head on over to the website at hottopicstalkradio.com. We will see you back here next week on Tuesday. I'm not going to sit in. I was only sitting in because it was the beginning of our new season and because I missed Shara and Reggie so much. And I wanted to see them.
She'll be back.
Only if I can cuss.
Yeah, well,
I try not to cuss too much on your show.
I got 3 out of you today.
Yes. Because see, I enjoy you guys so much. I do. You guys are my lifeline. You really are. And I really do thank you. And it's been, a couple of years now. Things have been great. And of course, you see that guy right there? No, right there. I always call him my baby daddy. I love you guys so much.
Where is he?
So I do want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned in. Ms. Jacqueline, Malcolm Murray, who had just joined us, Leslie Coker, Aaron, Randy Andrews. Reggie, you were in there too. Why did you comment? Meredith Thompson, Jarvis Russell, Mr. John L. Brown, and Mr. Frank Kidd, quite a few. My little cousin, learning politics early, Mr. Roy Palmer in San Francisco. But I just want to say thank you to you guys because you've been nothing but huge support to us. But we'll see you guys here next week on Tuesday. So make sure that you tune in. You guys ready? Get out of here?
Good night.
Good night.
All right, everybody.
Peace.
We will see you back next week. Love you so much. Real World News TV, you are now clear.